And we're live. Welcome to Simon no茶の間. Welcome to Simon's living room. I am, in fact, in my living room within a living room. This is my real living room, and I'm in the background, of course, is my Japanese living room. And welcome all the way from his cubicle in Southampton is my special guest this week, Hedge Haiden. Hello, Hedge.
Hi, Simon. Thank you very much for having me here.
So, how are things in Southampton at the moment? Give us a quick.
Thankfully, thankfully it's sunny, so you can actually see me. Otherwise, I'd be sort of like blanketed in shadow, like some kind of Dracula actor. But otherwise, it's not too bad. Thankfully, it's quiet outside. There's nobody making huge amounts of noise, so we haven't got any distractions right now. So far, everything's looking good.
Good. Well, if there's anybody watching at the moment.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yes, I mean, I did spam you all, and I am expecting some of you to arrive. But, we shall get on with the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I did explain in my advert that Hedge is a voice actor, but he also appears to be an actor in general and a musician, and has recently returned from Japan. And with this being a slightly Japan-oriented show, I will ask him his first question. Mm-hmm. He's just come back from Japan and working for the Yokohama Theatre Group, which I've been told my composer friend is quite a prestigious and long-standing theatre group in Yokohama. Hi, Tomo. Hi, Nosh. Just to say, this is Nosh abroad from San Francisco, who is up very late, and Tomo from Shikoku. So there you are. So I'm worldwide as we speak. Anyway, where was I? Yes, Yokohama Theatre Group. You were working there as an intern, which sounds almost like prison, but I don't know what what were you doing there? What did it involve, and how did you get to be there?
Okay. Well, I was in talks with a company that sources overseas workers for internships, because I thought I should really do something with my summer. I've got plenty of free time. And I found one group that did a lot of various different countries. But they said, actually, you're sort of a bit over the sort of demographic age for sort of the USA, Canada, things like that. We could recommend some other places. And I said, sure, what would you say? They said, have you ever been to Tokyo? I said, I never have. But I've seen a lot of it on TV. It looks quite interesting. I'd be happy to go there. So they set me up with a couple of people who were over there, some sort of liaisons and everything. And they said, we found a contact with a company called the Yokohama Theatre Group. I said, that sounds fun. They said, you'll probably be working in sort of like that sort of area of sort of acting, sound, set design, things like that. I said, okay, no problem. So they put me through to a guy called Andrew Wallner, who was the liaison there, had a chat with him over Skype. And he said, you look like you'd be good to work with us. Your sound background and everything looks like it could be okay. So I was lucky enough to be cast as King Creon in a modern interpretation of Sophocles' play Antigone, which is a Greek tragedy that's has this ability to be morphed into almost any kind of environment. It's so well written.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, we'll have you as that. So you get to learn to fight. You get to learn to sort of do non-dialogue acting, or as some people call it, corporeal mime. So,
right. Yeah. So like, you know.
Well, not really. It's more like sort of doing that, and then occasionally a bit of dialogue going, oh. So
can I just sort of interrupt, because I mean, you met the liaison and you were invited over. Did you I mean, were you paid to do this, or did you have to pay yourself to go and do this? Was this something that how did that work?
Oh yeah, this was entirely self-funded.
I see.
So, yeah, this was basically me going, I probably won't get a chance to do this very, very, very often. And I've got a bit of student loan money left over. I live pretty frugally, as you can see by all this junk behind me. So yeah, I said I'll just do that,
Cool.
Chance in a lifetime.
Oh yeah. So this was your first time ever. Excuse me, I just spat at the microphone. Your first time ever in Japan.
Indeed, my first time ever on the Asian continent, in fact.
Hmm.
It's the furthest I've ever traveled, almost halfway around the world.
Yeah, from the UK, it's about 12 hours.
It's
Flight?
about that, yeah. It took me about 17 hours because I went via Moscow.
Oh, right. Yes.
I went a cheap flight, and they said, very well, we'll take you on a tiny little plane to Moscow, and then we'll get our big plane to go to Japan. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I've considered that on my visits. I mean, it saves you about €100, and I thought, bugger it, no, I'll just go straight. I'll just go straight there. So yeah. So what did you think? Not about the 17-hour flight. That must have been horrendous. But I mean, when you stepped off the plane, it was like, wow, or was it like?
I think the first thing that hit me was how hot it was over there.
Oh yes, you went in summer, didn't you?
I was in the sort of just the I think the 3rd month of the Japanese summer. So of course I stepped out of the airport where it was air conditioned and was hit by a wall of heat. Because I'm used to British summers, which are sort of very warm, but they're also very, very humid. So you get the sort of the wet heat, but it's the muggy kind of heat. This was literally like pure heat. It was like, oh my God, what has happened? How long have I been on the plane? It's like, what happened? Did global warming occur? What happened?
Did I pack enough underpants?
Yeah. But oh my God, it was crazy hot over there. So eventually I had to get used to that. And but I think the one thing that really stuck with me is the sort of politeness and generosity of the Japanese people. Incredibly sort of understanding of the fact that I'm British and barely know any Japanese at all, apart from anything I've picked up in anime. So, yeah. But I remember I was in Shibuya, and it started to rain really heavily. And I was standing at one of the crossings waiting to cross over. And this Japanese guy just ran over with an umbrella, put it over my head and went, hi there. And just walked me to the subway station. I was like, oh, thank you very much indeed. He was like, no problem. And off he went. So, yeah, I mean, I've never experienced that before. Somebody going, here, have an umbrella. I was like, oh, thank you very much. But that was something that really, really sort of impressed me.
So that actually follows nicely into the next question, which is, what was your impression of Japan in general? I mean, apart from everybody being wonderful and polite and accommodating, and it being super hot, what was your general impression?
I think it's amazing how clean that city is. Because the fact that there's very few sort of rubbish bins lying around, the fact that there's barely any rubbish on the streets is something to behold. It's such a clean and beautiful city.
Yeah, if you do look hard enough in Shibuya, you will be able to find graffiti, I can tell you. But
oh yes, I've definitely found some graffiti. But then they've had graffiti in Pompeii, so that's not something that's going away. And okay, the sun's going in and making my face look dark. It's like, great, thanks.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that happens to me. The sun has come out here, actually.
You've got it. Yeah.
I still look dark.
But it's oh my word.
That was me going ping.
But
it's another YouTuber who just gave a thumbs up to one of the spams that I sent.
Oh, nice. Oh. But and also the trains are something that I'm not used to. The fact that the sort of on trains, personal space is sort of literally a luxury. So you can be on a train and you're sort of crushed in by people like this, but nobody really seems to care. It's like, yep, this is train. You basically just like, move on up. And in the UK, if you did that with someone, they'd be like, what's your problem, mate? It's like, it's a train. It's like, get out of the way. No, here it's like, boom. It's like, perfectly fine. Yeah, I need to get somewhere. I'm just on the train. Yeah.
So at the Yokohama, let's go back to Yokohama Theatre Group. So you were basically the whole time, more or less, you were Creon.
Yeah, mostly, yes.
So it was basically going in each day and learning to act. Or inputting your acting skills, should I say, to the test.
It was being able to act without dialogue. So it was all about expressions, non sort of dialogue sounds, so sort of laughs and snorts and those kind of things like that.
We'll go back a bit. Hang on. So there was no script. So You didn't have to actually say anything.
Oh no, there's very, very few lines. I had to sing 2 songs and a few words only used for emphasis, but most of the time it's all about sort of the emotional dialogue portrayed through movement, facial expression, and sort of I suppose sound. So sound played a heck of a lot of a turning point in this. Instead of having sort of sound effects, we had like ambiances, which basically conveyed where we were and things like that, and all kind of background sounds, which we would then react to. So it's almost like reacting rather than acting.
This is the first time anybody in my comments, and Nosh is thank you, Nosh, has said, hit that thumbs up button. Yes. This is so amazing that usually that happens on lots of live streams that I go to. So hit the thumbs up.
Hey.
But, thank you, Nosh.
I think somebody called Believe in Yourself and says, greetings, Simon and Hedge and all. Too much back pain right now to chat. I'll be leaning back and watching.
Okay,
like,
well, hey. That's Robert in Toronto.
Watching is perfectly fine, you know.
Yeah. So having had this experience, sort of wall of heat, sort of friendly people with umbrellas and miming to Shakespeare, do you have any concrete plans to return?
I would definitely love to go back, but it's whether or not that I could sort of find a genuine reason to go back. Because going back just for a holiday is fine, but having done that touristy thing while I was there, I had the luxury of having a lot of extra time that I could do my things with. But I'd like to go back there and actually do a sort of proper workout out there and be part of the economic center of Japan, rather than just wandering around going, oh, what shall I take pictures of today?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, I did that for 4 years. But I went back really because of people there that I've met and made friends with. So I mean, I was that was my main reason actually for going back. So let's go back. Let's go back in time, because you're a voice actor. You're also a musician and a dancer. I read, and we'll get onto that.
Not so much anymore. I'm a bit old now. But...
Okay. So when did you first become interested in performing art?
That was when I went to college and I took a BTEC in performing arts there. And that was probably one of the turning points for me, because I felt I gained a lot of respect in college rather than in school. So in school, I was a very quiet person. I was very introverted. I didn't like my voice to be heard. Whereas in drama and drama studies, that was one of the big points. And I could do that without having to worry about any repercussions. Because in drama, the fact that whatever you say doesn't matter, it's part of the actual production. There was no problem with me saying things because I wasn't going to get rebutted for it. It was just what had to happen. So being able to get into that college mindset where they go, okay, we'll take your strengths, we'll bring those to the top and we'll push everything down to the bottom and rebuild it slowly up. So they basically take your inside, move it to the outside and go, that's the person you are now. Because it's been 25 years since I was at school, so I have no problem with saying I didn't like that place. I hated it. I hated you all.
just in case anybody in the UK is watching.
Yeah. All those people I went to school with, I'm famous, you're not. So yeah. I'm not bitter at all. Not bitter at all. Lies.
How many glasses of sake did you have before we came on?
I think I've nearly finished one.
So it's strange because I'm watching the YouTube dashboard and you coming up to the camera there just like...
Oh my god.
But you also, I mean, prior to doing performing arts course, is that when you became a musician? Did you become a musician during that or before that?
It was sort of when when I was doing performing arts, we would be encouraged to do sort of extracurricular activities. So we decided that one year we would do a cabaret night. So we said to our lecturers, can we do a cabaret night? And they were like, yeah, no problem. Go ahead, do that. So I did a couple of monologues. I did a couple of jokey sort of stand-up sets and a couple of songs. And I thought those are things that I could, continue to do. I'll work on those. And the vocals and singing and the occasional sort of stand-up was things that I ran with.
So I mean, before that, I mean, it's not like you like in your teens in your bedroom you were like playing to becoming a musician. It's something that happened at college.
Yeah, it's pretty much. That's where it was called. This sort of kick-started. Yeah.
And what? I mean, you say you did stand up as well, but I mean, in terms of the music, what bands influenced you at that time?
The artist that really sort of kicked me off was Weird Al Yankovic.
That's unusual.
Yeah. Well, it's because all the time all the music I'd ever heard before was either messages that were sort of empowering, you can do anything, messages that were happy, like she's the most wonderful person in my life, or melancholy messages like, oh, she's out of my life. It was either really happy, really sad, or just empowering messages. Then when I sort of listened to Weird Al Yankovic, I was realizing that comedy music is something that is not a joke anymore. It's something that's actually taken seriously. And the great thing about comedy music is it tells the real story. For example, a song is like, she's a perfect 10. It's like the perfect woman. It's like they very rarely exist, like the perfect man. The only one that exists is Michelangelo's statue of David. So having a song that's like, yeah, she's an average woman. She's a 7 out of 10. That's real. That's reality. But nobody's going to say that. Nobody's going to say that. It's like, yeah, girl, you're a 7 out of 10. I'm thinking that, but they ain't saying that. So comedy music is all about reality. And being able to put like sort of genuine sort of emotions into music, but make it funny is something that it's something that I thought was a genuine art form. It's very easy to write lyrics that are so sort of passionate, but being able to write something that make people go, yep, that happened last Saturday night is pretty much what I think is pure talent. So it was Weird Al that got me into that, made me realize that, oh my God, this is something that isn't reserved for sort of Saturday Night Live sketch shows or sort of cheap laughs and everything. This is something that can be done and create true albums and get a following out of.
Oh, right. Right. So we all have to look out for Hedge Haiden, the contractual obligation LP.
Oh God.
you also as a musician, and you because I've read your bios. Which instruments do you play?
I'm a vocalist primarily, but I also play the guitar and the harmonica.
Not simultaneously.
Well, not yet. I haven't tried. So
on the corner of High Street, you'll find with his harmonica and his
a powerful generator to power the guitar. Yes.
I'm just reading the comments here. So Perk says, I'll admit I don't always understand comedy music. I mean, if there's a message to Zappa's song about becoming a dental floss tycoon, I missed it.
Well, again, that's the thing. You can ask someone, so what made you decide to become a dentist? It's like, I needed a job.
I like teeth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What a nice collection at home.
That's the thing. If a dentist said to you, "Oh, I really like teeth," you'd be thinking, "Should I go there? Should I go there?"
We've got a lot of people who are injured and watching us at the moment. We've got an injured person in Canada and an injured person in Australia. Vids of your mom. Take it easy. Yeah. A nasty cold. We're just the remedy for a nasty cold. Yes, but we're your visual expectorant.
I'd say sort of this is quite a remedy for a nasty cold. It sort of really gets your sinuses open.
Right, I'm going to throw a curveball now. Okay, because it's in your list. You're all right. Don't worry.
Okay.
It's because all these things that this artistic, like you said, you had to finance it yourself to go to Japan. You had to finance, and as we all know, audience and everybody else, unless you're bloody famous, earning money as an artist is not often the main source of income, and I learnt that Hedge worked in a casino, or works still, as far as I know, in a casino. And how did you get to work in a casino?
Well, you're half right. I don't work there anymore, but I did. But
Mm,
unfortunately, this is a boring answer, which is literally that if you ask any struggling actor, have they
mm,
had to take sort of menial jobs to pay things? Pretty
mm,
much the answer will be 99.99% yes.
mm,
It's pretty much you go, well, trying to find sort of acting jobs is pretty hard.
mm,
And unless you've got a house to live in, to practice in and do work, you need something.
mm,
So I pretty much what I did. It was a job I needed to pay sort of rent while I was building my profile up. So that's what I
mm,
took. I mean, even Kevin Conroy, who is one of the most famous Batman voices on Batman the Animated Series, even he
mm.
has said that, yeah, I've got plenty of restaurant experience because you need those kind of things. So it was pretty
Yeah,
much just hi there, I need a job to pay the rent. Can I work here?
yeah. Oh, and
Yeah.
they like they like the look of you, and
Yeah,
it's,
and I think I was the only one that turned up, so I think they had to give it to me.
so can you? And now that you don't work for them anymore, and
Mhm.
you're not subject to any
Mhm.
kind of reprisals,
Mhm.
we'll send the boys round.
Mhm.
Can you tell us any casino secrets?
I believe that's why they are called secrets.
Oh right, okay. Or it's why not a lot happened in Southampton Casino.
Yeah. But also, genuinely, you could actually go to a casino and say, "What are your odds?" And they'll point you to a leaflet on the wall and goes, "That's our house edge. That tells you how much we win from you. Go ahead, take a copy."
Mm.
Oh yeah.
So did you ever dabble?
Oh no, I never did.
Mm.
It's kind of like one of those things where if you ever work in sort of like a beer factory, you go, "Oh my god, I could drink so much beer." You've then been there 3 years. It's like, I don't touch the stuff anymore.
Yeah.
That kind of thing where you get kind of desensitized to it.
Well, there's hopefully this won't happen with acting or YouTube. Please. So that was your day job, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
But also, I mean, there you are building up your talent in college. And I noticed also that you shifted to radio, internet radio. I mean,
That's correct. Yes.
can you tell us about that? Were you sort of like the Alan Partridge of Southampton or something?
Oh god, yeah. And nobody tunes in. Everybody hates him. Yes. Yes, Alan Partridge, Tiger Tales Radio. Yes, we started in 2004, and we believe that nobody else had done it before. So we were pioneers of radio. So anyway, get rid of that. Yeah, this started in 2004 when my housemate and I, who I still live with, he's in the other room, possibly watching this, I don't know.
Hello.
But we decided that we'd try this insane experiment. We would set up a very basic radio station and we would do 365 episodes one day for an entire year.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought, can we do that? So this was back in the days of Shoutcast, which was where it was just audio only. So we got ourselves a server, we started doing this, and we'd sort of yell down the microphone, "Hi there, this is Tiger Tales Radio." We talk about what we've been doing per day, play some music, do a bit more talking, play some music. And
basically radio. Yeah.
Yeah, basically radio. Yeah. Who knew? So we did that for a while. And then after the full year, we stopped doing it because the experiment had finished. And I said, do you miss it? And he said, yeah, do a bit. It's like, should we do it again? So we did it this time, but we decided we do it once a week rather than burn ourselves out. And it's now on its 12th season.
All right.
And so we've only had like 2 years break, and it's kept going and going and going. And we ended up with sort of co-hosts that would occasionally help out when we were either ill or working or tired. And we ended up with a huge sort of collection of people that were willing to help out. And that became a sort of a running gag. And this week's co-host is so.
Your housemate is enjoying the 30 seconds of lag. What is it?
There he
What is
is, yeah.
hearing on screen and what is hearing in the next room?
Yeah, he's probably hearing me laughing through the door. So yeah. But yes, if subscribe to Tiger Tales Radio, go ahead, do it. You know you want to.
Was it a natural progression then from being a new comedy singer to being a radio host, and from there to becoming a voice actor?
I think with the thing with radio is you need a voice that is constant. You can't have a voice that constantly changes all the time. If you notice with radio announcers, they'll always have the sort of, they may sort of put the voice up a bit in sort of timbre, but they'll always have the same sort of emotion. So you don't sort of get, I wouldn't say scared, but you don't get shocked by any massive change. So, for example, if you're driving down the motorway and you're listening, you don't want suddenly the guy to go, and by the way, today this happened. Oh my God. So you need that constant sort of perfect voice to just talk to people and things like that.
Like the shipping forecast. I mean, you
Pretty
don't.
much, yes, exactly. Yeah. Whereas being a voice actor is the complete sort of opposite. Unless you're narrating a very sort of intense documentary, you need to be able to get different voices, different emotions, and change between those at will, especially if you're doing what I do, which is audiobooks. So you need to be able to have that ability to change emotion on the fly and work out, right, what is going on in this scene, what voice should be used, what temperament should be used, what emotion should be used.
Do you get kind of directions for that, or does the people sending you the material kind of expect you to establish that yourself?
Normally I'll send them an audition file and they'll say, yeah, that voice is great, or this character needs to be a bit more New York or a bit more Chicago, or that person needs to be sort of very clipped British, something like that. Or occasionally they'll say, no problem, just create the character as you see fit. I mean, most of the time in the synopsis it will say like Jonathan Forecaster, an Irish brogue pirate, so you immediately know this is Irish. So that's normally where it comes from.
Perk is saying in the comments he likes audiobooks, but it's hit or miss with the narrators. Well, there you are.
Well, you know, if you go to Audible and search on my name, you might find one that suits you.
Indeed, we'll get onto that later. Speaking of being given work and looking for work as a voice actor, I mean, this is something I'm currently researching. But one of the things that's always in the back of my mind, and I was watching a video about, I've been watching lots of videos about voice actors and ones that do it for McDonald's and ones that do it for car companies and big, political parties and so on. Are there any particular voice acting gigs that you prefer or enjoy doing the most?
Well, I know it sounds cliche, but if I take a really big project, that ties up a lot of time. So sometimes going for a large amount of small projects is easier because I can churn those out really quickly and then add up my portfolio rather than one big massive payout, which can tie me up for maybe a couple of months.
Yeah, so you're missing like opportunities down because
because at the moment I'm doing a 70,000 word novel, and that's about 24 chapters. And I'm sort of in the 2/3 through that. But again, if someone says, oh, by the way, I'd really like this done by the end of September, it's like, I don't know if I can because I've got to get this one done. So taking a really big project can be lucrative because it's a big novel that will attract a lot of people to listen to it. But smaller ones can create that kind of like stepping stone. So you can go, yes, I've got a lot of different work with a lot of different sort of voices, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, if you will.
Oh, right. So is it now what you're aiming to be as your main source of income? Voice acting.
Yes. Oh, definitely. It's something that doesn't require me to go out and meet people and sort of have interviews. I can just sort of audition directly from my studio. It means I can pretty much take this anywhere. So if I ever decide that I'm going on a trip somewhere, I can bundle this all up and I've got my studio with me. And it's just something that suits my nature. I'm not a good salesman at all. It's like, hey, would you fancy selling like watches to people? I would be like terrible. I'd be just standing there going, got a watch? I am not
opening your coat.
Yes, I am not a salesman at all. I am useless at that. I don't know how people do that. I can't do that. So yeah, this definitely suits me. Just leave me alone in my little hole. Don't bother me. Let me do my thing.
Perk is asking, have you ever done any radio drama? He loves those.
Oh, I love to do radio plays because they are some of the, I mean, they are the sort of the old sort of family thing where you crowd round the radio and this is the radio drama at 6 o'clock. Vincent Price stars in The House on Haunted Hill, along with Jermaine Greer and this other woman who's only just getting her new release. And then, of course, there's a huge explosion of thunder and rain. And you do realize it's 6 o'clock on a Saturday evening and we're standing out here in the rain. I know that, Vincent. It's a haunted house. A haunted house, you say?
There you are, Perk. There's radio drama on Simon no Channel.
But I'd love to do radio drama. However, the only I think the only radio station that does radio drama these days is Radio 5, but they've got their own sort of collection of people that do it. I suppose I could really poke them and go, hey, that kind of thing. I mean, you can find old scripts of very, very old radio dramas from like the 30s and 40s, which are kind of now in sort of the public domain, like The Shadow and things like that. And I've looked at those and thought those would be fantastic. But of course, you've got to find other people because you can't do a radio drama really by yourself.
Well, there's a guy in the room next door that you could. Tiger Tales, the Tales of the Shadow.
He's got one voice, and that's his voice. That's pretty much it.
Oh, sorry, mate. You just got one voice. He had one voice. He's just got one voice.
It's like there are. It's like David Attenborough. David Attenborough has got one voice, but that is a very good voice. But it only works for one thing, you know. I don't think you could have David Attenborough doing Saturday morning cartoons. You know, I mean, maybe.
You've just been corrected. Tiger Tail says BBC Radio 4 does the drama. Radio 5 is live sport.
It proves how often I listen to it, doesn't it?
Yes.
So my bad. My apologies. Radio 4 is the drama. Yeah. So yeah. Well, looks like I won't be getting any work from them.
No. So... Radio 5 Live. No, Vincent Price reads the football results.
Manchester United 1, Southampton 0.
How many hours a day could you keep this up, so to speak?
Oh God. I don't know, until everybody leaves, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so how many hours a day would you spend voice acting? Sort of, you sort of like go through the day, right? And you were telling me earlier that you wait till like 2 o'clock in the morning when it's all quiet outside. So I mean, the rest of the day you're just lounging about. It's like waiting until 2 o'clock in the morning.
But
and then you do all your work.
A couple of months ago, I started doing this massive 70,000 word novel. And I looked at how many chapters it was and thought, if I do if I record and edit 3 chapters a day, I can have this done in 8 days. And I thought, perfect, that'd be really easy. And I started trying to do that. But of course, because there's so many different voices and characters, that can give you sort of like vocal fatigue because you're morphing between so many different voices and emotions all the time. So I would record, I think I managed to record 3 chapters.
Hello?
What is going on? I felt
you're being you're frozen.
So physically, 3 chapters as well was mentally draining me as well.
You seem to be. I don't know what's happening on whether it's your end or my end, but
got to the point where I was like, I can't do this. As this done, I can't realize that there is a certain point could do my best, and that was 1 full section per day, which I then put all into, and then edit that perfectly and get it done. Because if I try and force it, by the end of the 3rd chapter, my voice is sounding raspy. There's no emotion in there. And then eventually I'm getting to editing and go, oh, just leave that. I don't care if there's an error. I can't be bothered. So doing one section per day is the best thing to do, because I've got my all into it and my mind is still fresh.
And Perk just says, "Wow, he just did an impression of a voice being cut off by a poor web connection. Amazing."
Oh my God. Oh.
Do you have any favorite voice actors that sort of, you, besides Vincent Price, but he's dead? But I mean, do you have any favorite voice actors that influence your style, or whose work you admire?
I do. One is Mike Pollock, who is a New York-based voice actor who's the current voice of Dr. Eggman in the Sonic games and the TV shows. And he's one of those guys who he has his own website and everything, and with all his frequently asked questions and everything, but he also grants interviews for the price of a cup of coffee. So he says, message me on Twitter and pay me the price of a Starbucks and everything, and I'll give you an interview for your podcast. So he does fan service and everything. And I think that's something that I really respect in that kind of thing, is being able to sort of say, yes, I do this, but I'm not above you guys. I'm on the same level with you guys. I'm just a guy with a job.
Oh, that's good.
Another one is an audiobook narrator called R.C. Bray. And he has got this incredibly rich, smooth voice that is amazing for things like science fiction books. But he also has the ability to deliver lines with humor that actually make you laugh. He famously did the audiobook version of Andy Weir's The Martian. If you know that book or film, it was translated into a film with Matt Damon.
Oh, vaguely, yes. I mean, I vaguely remember it. Yeah.
Yes, it was originally a science fiction book that I think won bestseller. And his narration is so good. I have listened to that book 3 times. His voice is incredible. So he is another one. He's another guy that I really find amazing.
Can you maybe type his name in the comments for people to?
Yep, certainly can do. Here we go. So
just promoting the competition.
Yes. There we go.
R.C. Bray, The Martian.
Yes, The Martian.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sticking with voice acting, I mean, one of the things I've been researching, like I was saying, the people who are doing these jobs for big companies, who you might consider, not the best companies to do work for, sort of thing. Are there any jobs that you get gigs for and you think, no, I'm not going to do that? You turn it down because you disagree with the type of company that's wanting this done. Do you have any moral standards?
Oh God! In the world of acting, do you have moral standards? I think it's very rare that I come up against something that would be, I suppose, against my principles. Really, I mean, I think there would be principles if I did something that shouldn't be done. For example, if somebody wrote a book saying the women's guide to this and I narrated that, I think that would be really bad, the women's guide to public speaking and it's narrated by a man. I think that would be
so your woman's voice is not up to par.
Not really, no. I mean, I can do one, but it just sounds, like someone trying to sort of, seduce someone over the internet. Hey there, you're a man. No, I'm not.
Right. Perk has led nicely into the next question. He says, in other words, have you dubbed any porn movies?
Wait.
Right.
But there's only one time that I actually refused to do one thing, and that was where the book had not been proofread or edited, and so trying to read it as is would have been impossible because
afterwards, your words might not correspond with what was.
I would have been just making noises like "fugada" and something like that, or also where sort of somebody's written the word "ah," but they've written it with like 15 A's. It's like he screamed "ah!"
Oh, just people's ears are now like bleeding.
That's the only time I've sort of turned that kind of thing down because I can't read that. I literally can't read it.
A 20-second warning for headphones.
Thank you.
So, because leading in from Perk's question about
Mhm.
narrating for porn,
Yes.
whilst researching your career, I discovered you narrate audiobooks for an erotic book publisher, which is the
Yes.
polite term. Do you also do the sound effects?
Yes, the Monsterotica series. So, thankfully, the sound effects are usually explained rather than the onomatopoeia.
Okay.
So, thankfully, I don't have to do any sort of like things like that or anything.
Okay.
But you know, I feel as someone that's contracted to do this, then I wouldn't convey what was going on in this scene. So you know, I've got no problems with doing like sort of heavy breathing, sort of strained gasps, and the occasional sort of like groan or something. But I think if you pick up the word erotica in it, you want something to happen in there. If you don't sort of like if I don't put the effort in that person is going to reflect badly on the publisher and also on me. Because
yes, you don't want a radio announcer voice in an erotic novel.
Indeed, yeah. But you also want someone to go, hang on, I've paid money for this, and the guy sounds like he's embarrassed to do this. You know.
Yeah.
It's like watching someone on stage.
Perk is saying,
oh. Yes.
Perk is saying, did he say monster erotica? The fuck?
Yes, I
Yes,
did. Monster erotica. Yes, I did indeed. Yes. The
Good
truly
Lord, I'm too
tales
innocent.
of monster erotica. Yes. But yeah, you know, you've got to give your all for these things. If you don't, then you're not providing a service. You're merely sort of, you know, a part-time job of some kid selling lemonade. You know, pretty much what you're doing.
It's like I'm just weighing that up. You know, monster erotica kids selling lemonade. No, okay, no.
Okay, bit of a weird analogy. Okay,
Yeah.
YouTube's gonna kill me.
So how did you get this gig? I mean, did you sort of like, you know, was it in an ad in a dubious magazine or what?
Well, actually, it was I hate to use the phrase, but it was word of mouth. So but yes, Deep Desires Press is the name of the company that actually publishes these books. And I have a friend who's an author who wrote a couple of these. And I said to him, hey, do you mind if I practice my voice acting by reading one of these books? He was like, yeah, no problem, go ahead. So I recorded it, sent him the finished article, and he said, this is actually quite good. Do you mind if I send it to my publisher? And I said, go ahead. And the publisher said, yeah, this is quite good. Because we're sort of book publishers, doing audio is no extra work for us. So anything that you do for us is basically a win on our end. So he said he published it. It got a few views and everything. And I said, do you mind if I do another one? He said, yeah, go ahead. So I did the 3 in the first series. At which point they said to me, well, these are going quite well. Here's some other ones which we think would work well as an audio. Pick one of these if you'd like to do it. And the most recent one I've done is called The Line of Succession, which is a thriller set in the British monarchy in an alternate universe if the heir to the throne was brought up in a rather intense sex scandal.
Okay.
But yeah, it's one that I really enjoy doing because my accent sort of fit that. And of course, being able to do impersonations of certain royalty is quite fun. So
So there you are, audience. If you ever feel the need.
Yeah.
So this is all happening now. It's going quite smoothly, but you're currently studying as well on top of this. We talked earlier. You were at college and doing that performing arts course, but you're now doing a bachelor's.
That's correct.
In that,
yes.
And your final year. So could you tell us more about that?
Yes, I'm studying at the Solent University in Southampton, which is a university designed mostly for creative arts and things like that. It's actually been shortlisted for the University of the Year 2019, so watch this space. And I started doing that because I felt that my life at that point didn't have any kind of true direction to it. So I thought, I want to be able to get something that will point me in the direction of where I want to go. So I thought, if I take a degree in something that I actually can give me a springboard into something, then this is going to be a new beginning for me. Because before, I'd been educated in computing and things like that, which I only really liked as a pastime. I didn't like it as a job. But of course, parents will see their children as, Hedge is there basically, playing on the computer. That means he must like computers. You should go into computers. That's what you're good at. And of course, that was something that was, of course, ingrained in my head. Yes, I must be good at them. If I like them, I must be good with them. Of course, I realized I just liked playing video games. That was all I liked.
Yeah.
So, of course, I went down that path and realized that I didn't like it. And I had this sort of 20-year period of basically mulling in and out of where am I? And eventually, when I started doing these voice acting gigs, I realized that this is something that I'm good at. So I decided, if I combine my skill with music, my skill with voices, mix that into my degree, I've then got a massive great backbone that I can springboard off.
Oh, sorry, I'm just one of my rare Siberian viewers has popped in. Nastia, hi.
Hey, Siberia, very nice. Hello. But yes, that's pretty much why I'm doing it, is to give me sort of like a concrete sort of springboard that I can use.
I mean, you were already like on your way, as it were, doing your voice acting.
Yes.
But I mean, so this is almost like backup, or what?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. This is something that I can, because I mean, it's all very well having the sort of the I suppose the experience and everything, but I also want something that I can say to people, look, I know what I'm doing. I've got the skills in production. I've got the skills in performance. I actually know what I'm doing. If you need me to record, if you need me to edit, I've proved to you that I can do both. So that's literally what it is. It's being able to back it up. For example, I could say, oh yes, I record and edit these. It's like, can you? Have you got proof of that? Yeah. This is my degree here. It proves I've done this. I know what I'm doing. I've got the skills in it.
That's good. I mean, I don't think I would have the cojones to go and do that again. and I mean, I like I said, I mean, I'm currently researching, sort of finding out about voice acting, whether I'd be prepared to commit myself to being a student again. God, I don't know. I mean, what's it like? What's it like? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more. No, I mean, being a student again. And that's not one of their questions, but it's just a question I've come up with.
It's actually quite fun, because I thought for a while that I was the oldest student on the course. I'm 41 years old, so I thought I was the oldest. And I found out that there was a guy in a year above me who was 45. So I was actually not the oldest. So it's the point now where being a mature student is not something that's seen as this kind of like sort of failure in life. It's other people of older ages are now going back to university. It's being able to realize that you can, even in sort of a near middle age, you can completely change the way your life is going. You're not stuck in where you are. You're not sort of, oh, you're 30 years old, you're working in this area, you can't go somewhere else now. That's ridiculous. You can change things completely. I mean, the gig economy has pretty much rewritten the book on the way people make money. Before, it was you had a job, you worked at it 9 to 5, you went home, you did that. That was your job. You couldn't do anything else. Nowadays, with the internet, with the sort of information superhighway, all this kind of thing, you can pretty much do jobs from anywhere. You can get musicians that will go to sort of maybe the Australian outback and record something using Bluetooth headphones and the tiny speaker and create this massive audio experience. You'll get people that will go into the frigid areas of Antarctic and film a documentary using an iPhone. And you can upload these from like a simple internet cafe. So the gig economy is just rewriting the book on what you can do. There's no reason that being a mature student is weird now.
I had my friend from Nottingham,
Hey!
Corvid Chaser, another YouTuber,
Haha!
who's been a guest on the show. She's popped in. Hello.
Hello! Hello!
Yes, it's a very British. It's a very British affair. This particular show.
So
let's get on to the final question.
Ooh.
So you're now working your way towards building a voice acting career, and you're backing it up with all the technical gubbins. technical term there. But do you is this now? Have you reached your plateau? Is this what would be your ideal of earning a living from what you're enjoying doing? Is this it? Have you reached your pinnacle?
I think genuinely that. Oh, someone says, "Hello, what's up, Hedge Haiden? What's the topic this time around?" Well, it's basically me.
Yes, it's we're Hedge Haiden is a voice actor from Southampton, and we've been discussing all things, including monster erotica and the heat of Yokohama. And all kinds of things. You may have to go back and watch the replay.
But yes, my sort of ideal is this is pretty much something I've found that I fit in perfectly, because I don't have to. I can do this at any time of the day that I really want, and I function very well at night. I've always been someone that is a natural night owl. So you can see that I've got this terrible sort of puffiness here. So. That's because I've been forced to get up early. So you can see. So yeah, I work incredibly well during the night. I've always been that kind of person. So my ability to record and everything and edit well is always good in the early sort of wee hours. So again, this is perfect for me as well. I don't really have to meet anyone face to face to do kind of things. I can talk to someone directly via emails and everything. They can say, what do you need? This is what I need. I can knock something up in a couple of minutes as an audition, send it through. Also, my equipment is simply a Mac, a microphone, and an interface. And those three things I could transport with me pretty much anywhere. So if I ever decide to relocate, I don't have much to take with me.
So basically, nobody sees you much outside.
Yes. I pretty much
elusive
live
figure.
In my room. Yeah. I live in my studio. That's pretty much where I am. Yeah.
Get a message there from Corvid Chase. He says, "Awesome! I've always loved your voice acting work. Always loved your work. I was going to say, always loved voice acting work. Congratulations on your amazing job." And she's always loved Foley editing when young.
Oh, Foley editing. Yes. Foley editors are some of the most, I think, intelligent people I've ever met. If someone who can make it's like, yes, we need a sound of a bird squawking while being shot out of a cannon. At which point they go, yes, a lemonade bottle, a Christmas cracker toy, and a small snap from said cracker is exactly what I need. Oh yeah. Oh God.
And we have from Tokyo, we have my friend Manami, who is a pianist.
Oh, fantastic! Superb. But
so
yeah, this is
basically you've reached your nadir, as they say.
Yeah. I've
it's all downhill from here.
Yeah, it's taken me 40 years, but I finally worked out what I'm good at. Yeah, after having to poke around so many things and go, "What's my motivation? What's my motivation?" And eventually I found it. It's like, yeah, it's basically sitting in a room, in a really hot room with no air conditioning, yelling into a microphone, pretending to be different people. So yeah. Corvid Chaser says, as a teen, I'd love to make sound effects with my own voice. So Frank Welker was always a hero of mine. Yes. Frank Welker, if people don't know, is the voice actor who does every animal noise in film.
Oh, right.
If it's a cartoon and it's an animal voice, it is Frank Welker. It is nobody else. So yeah, if you that
is niche. That is very niche.
So Abu in Aladdin is Frank Welker. Scooby-Doo is Frank Welker.
Wow.
The hyena character out of Batman the Animated Series is Frank Welker. Anything that's an animal is Frank Welker. So yeah.
I'm trying to now imagine Corvid Chaser doing Scooby-Doo.
Oh, Scooby-Doo. So, oh yes, yeah. Frank Welker is famously Scooby-Doo and Freddie Jones. So he does both Scooby and Freddie.
Oh, he's
fantastic.
Freddie, is that Fred from the Scooby-Doo show?
From Scooby-Doo, yes. Yeah. He is voiced by Frank Welker, yes.
Oh,
so it's one of the few times you actually hear his voice.
So that it sounds quite normal, not
Yeah. But yeah, he is pretty much every animal character. That is what he does.
Especially in Disney, says Corvid Chaser.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's because they know that he is the best in the business. If you need an animal sound, you go to Frank Welker. Yeah.
So basically, to what you take home from that is you've got, like you were telling me before the show, that you focus in on what you know, and you stick to that, and that way that's the way you get recognition.
It's being able to sort of, for example, you get some people that have got very, very distinctive voices. For example, Stephen Fry has got a very, very distinctive voice. But when he reads the Harry Potter books, he just puts different sort of pitches for the characters. But you don't care about that because you're listening to Stephen Fry, who's got a beautiful sort of voice to listen to. Whereas someone like, say, let's go for Jim Cummings. Jim Cummings, as Tiger Tales Radio has just said, his voice is so versatile. You probably wouldn't listen to him read an audiobook, but he could do every character in a Disney cartoon and you wouldn't know it's the same person.
I see. All right.
But yeah, it's pretty much the way that is. You've got people that are very good at narrating. R.C. Bray, again, very, very good narrator. And then again, Mike Pollock, incredibly skilled voice actor who can do high-pitched sort of warbling voices for different characters, and then can go very deep to get sort of Dr. Eggman.
My ears. Yes. Headphone warning again, everybody.
I'm far away. I've got my mic turned down quite low, and I'm far away, and even still, it's loud. Oh God, yeah.
So what we could do? We've got a couple of minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do improv?
I can. It depends what you want.
Well, we'll not have monster erotica. We'll
okay.
It's a family show.
Mm-hmm.
Could you sort of round up the show for us? What I'll do, I'll switch to my Southampton, and that's what you could do.
Mm-hmm.
You could do could you ad lib? Here we go. Where is it? This is Kawasaki City. There we are. And do as a sort of improv tourist outro for promoting Kawasaki City. Let's imagine that Kawasaki City is twinned with Southampton, if you could imagine that. And how would you go about the wonderful city of Kawasaki?
In Japan, Kawasaki City is noted as being a beautiful metropolis that provides high quality motorcycles. Southampton provides people with high quality boat merchandise, beautiful marinas, and superb trips to the seaside. Kawasaki and Southampton are twinned, if you will, by a mutual discovery to provide fantastic days out for families, friends, and lovers alike. Whether you want the taste of seafood, hot dogs, or maybe possibly fast food, Kawasaki and Southampton provide you with both of those in abundance. Also, shopping, malls, strip malls, small souvenir shops, they're all here waiting for you. So why not take a trip across the world, or maybe just across the street? Kawasaki in Southampton, here for you.
Well done, that man. You should be paid by Kawasaki and Southampton city councils.
Woo! Oh my word! Somebody will just take that and they'll be like,
Yeah,
"Wait a minute, that's me!"
Get this guy a job on NHK. There we
Woohoo!
go. Hey, that's my gig. This week on Japanology Plus.
Okay. Oh my word! Awesome. Let's go to Kawasaki, everyone. Yes, right now we'll all just go. Yeah.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Woo!
Well, I'm afraid it's that time again.
Oh.
It's that time again when I have to do the outro.
Oh.
Let's see if I can get this to play.
Perk says, "Can you do the same thing in Japanese?" But unfortunately, I can't. I'm afraid.
It doesn't seem to be playing. I had my groovy. I had my groovy outro intro music from the advert, but nobody can hear it, so it doesn't matter.
Oh no!
But I should like to thank the man in the next room to my guest for putting up with all the noise. And I'd like to thank Hedge for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And I hope you enjoyed the show. And
absolutely, yes.
You're welcome to be on again in season 3
well, hey.
of the Simon no茶の間show. I'd like to thank all my my viewers for watching, and just to say that next week it's a mystery again. I shall be not necessarily pulling out all the stops, but I shall be trying to acquire a guest for next week. But otherwise, it'll just be me again. But for now, Hedge can go to bed and get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to do some more work.
Oh, fantastic!
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for watching, and see you all again next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.